Welcome to Mystic Revolution. We are in season 3, Conscious Creation.
And Susana and I are so glad that you're here. Why don't we just go right into our meditation so that we can start playing?
Sounds great.
So when you're ready, you can notice that you're here in a body and feel your skin. And let's start to tune into our inner world. Bring all of your attention and energy inside your skin. And then drop what you're done with down to the center of the earth. Just like let go like sand in your hands. And let your natural connection, your body's natural connection with the earth, carry all that you're done with, like you're dropping rocks, like you're dropping dust, like you're dropping sand. And it's falling down to the center of the earth. Again, notice your skin. Bring all of your attention, all from hither and yon, inside. Feeling your skin, the edge of your body. And then again, like sand in your hands, release what's not you anymore, what's not now anymore, what's not serving you anymore. Just like sand in your hands, let it flow down to the center of the earth for processing. And you can stay in this space if you'd like, or you can start to move around and open your eyes. And here we are together speaking about conscious creation.
Yes, such a great topic that I know both of us love so much. And last time we shared a little bit of our own stories around creation and talked about the idea of finding. Wendy led us in a beautiful meditation to get us sort of in a relaxed state and sort of being able to find that space in ourselves. And we talked about at the end a little bit about competition and the idea that when you create, or especially when you want to create a particular thing, like you can get in your head or you can get in emotion around like competition with other people, like, well, they're doing this, why don't I have that, or why am I not creating this?
Yeah.
Or the world sucks and that's why I'm not creating, or I'm not getting what I want, or
Right. Or God, or
God,
my
or
mother, whatever.
right. I've used all of those things as reasons for sure. And the idea, and what I loved about this meditation that you just did is like feel your skin and just tuning into the skin, like where you are, where you end and the rest of the world begins, really is a great it's such a great exercise to just find your center and kind of unhook from all of that stuff
Yes. Yes. It really helps us stay in our own lane.
and stay
So,
in your own lane. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. In my training, when I went to Mystic training, the first 2 years, I went 4 years. The first 2 years, the biggest thing I heard from Spirit was keep your eyes on your own page. I mean, for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we're talking about here. Like, who am I? Like, what's my path? What's my creation? And not worrying about yours. It's
Yeah.
really tempting.
Yeah, it's really tempting, and I mean, everything. I mean, I say this about everything, but really, I mean, we get so many messages from the media, from families, from different ideologies that um, being creative or being an artist or whatever looks like a very specific thing. It
Yeah.
shows up in the specific way. And as we discussed last week, I mean, every moment of every day, we are creating something.
We really are.
We really
Really are.
are. And this goes into one of my favorite topics of discussion. If we are creating in every moment, what are we making matter? And I mean that both literally and figuratively. right?
Yes.
Because my thoughts, my perceptions, my openness to my own creativity or my own particular brand of personal genius, if you
Yes.
will. Because,
Yes. Yes.
and I think everyone has that, right?
Yes. Their gift.
Their
Yeah.
gift, right? When we can lean into that, each of us has this, and there's nothing to compare it to, and we can open to the flow of it and sort of drop all the things, unhook from all the things.
Yes.
That really is that's the creative flow.
Yes.
And I go back to the question of what are we making matter? If I'm creating out of I suck or I'm scared,
Yes.
it's fine, right? I can create out of that.
Oh,
There's no
yeah.
judgment
Oh,
at
good at it.
all.
Yeah.
But I am also creating out of that. And if like my fear or my lack of worth is a dominant feature, then that will likely impact, what I am creating. Now,
Yeah.
maybe that's a really good thing. I mean, certainly like creating or for me singing grief or singing or sounding emotion,
Yes.
like that's an intention because
Yes.
it's an intentional sort of expression or relief. But sometimes we want to create a very specific thing, and all this other stuff is
Yes.
in the mix.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing I tend to call it is we're creating through all these things we're not usually conscious of or meaning to create through. We're creating through
yeah,
all those filters on the way
yeah,
to, oh, I want to have a great relationship. And then all this other shit is showing up. What's that about?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, I mean, well, relationships are a really great example. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, I'll just be honest about myself. I I think uh, I think that so many of my relationships, um, especially more intimate ones, I mean, absolutely were shaped by my own lack of self-worth.
Yes.
And even though I wanted to create this kind of relationship, I didn't know that I I didn't know that I could get out of this lack of self-worth to create
Yes.
something. Like you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. And so I kept, well, maybe if I do it differently or maybe a different person or maybe, and all of those things are factors because we are co-creating, but until I was able to shift this,
Yes.
I was continuing to create experiences that weren't totally fulfilling for myself or
Yeah.
the other people. I
Yeah.
mean, to be
Right. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because it's on the macro and the micro. It's like, okay, my being and expectations and my old patterns, all these things, attract a certain person, a certain person relationship. And then in every moment, I'm hearing, seeing, acting, relating out of this offness, this not
Yes.
enoughness or whatever. So it's like it's the big creation of that particular relationship, and then the constant overlays that form our experience of the relationship
Yeah.
and create the relationships and their reactions and round in circles. I mean, it's really wild
Yeah.
how much volition we have about it.
Yeah. And to your point, right? We are co-creating our relationships every single day. Even if we've been with someone for
Yep.
10 years, 5 years, whatever,
Yeah.
people that have been together for 50 years, it's co-creating every single day. And so um I love this. I'm not sure this is where we were expecting to go here, but it's such a great topic because relationships make up so much of our lives, and um, opening up and expecting a new creation or a new experience when we're showing up with our same
Yeah.
stuff, it's not realistic.
Right. Yeah.
And it's putting a lot of the onus on the other person for them to change and create differently.
Yes.
Um, and when really, right, we are at least at least half of the mix, or a third. I mean, depending on what kind of relationship we're talking about, right? Like, but yeah.
Yeah. Like how I'm hearing them is all about me. The
Mhm,
story I make up about their behavior, all about me.
mhm.
I mean, there's just a whole lot that's in my court.
Yeah.
Um, that they, no matter what they do, can't change unless I can allow a new perspective and
And
vibration or whatever you want to say.
yeah. And so then back to the earlier question, what are we making matter? What are we making matter in our relationships?
Yeah. Yeah, it's also what I notice. Like there's so much of the world I don't see. It's so fascinating to me. Like my partner sees a whole different world than I do.
Yes.
And he tends to see a lot more in the physical world because I'm very up, in my own stuff. Um, and in relationships though, like I'm remembering, like I have really a lot of attention on that. So I'm like remembering and but like what am I seeing and not seeing? That's all what I make matter. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, fine. He is putting away the dishes, but he, left the towel on the floor, whatever. Like I'm just making things up. But it's like if I keep focusing on the towel on the floor, then like he's always gonna suck.
Yeah. It's like creating out of, do I have a mind that looks more towards criticism or judgment? Do I create a, and I'm not even judging that because,
What we
we
do.
all come from different experiences and we have different lenses we're looking through, and we're all learning and growing.
Hmm.
Um, and but through that lens, you're going to create differently, or you're going to perceive what you create differently.
Yes.
Um, and our perception of our creations really is almost, it's like everything, right?
Yes.
Because I can create a thing, I can create a song and feel just delighted by it. And you could listen to it and be like, oh my God, I don't know, I don't really like that.
Is this over yet?
Right? Is this over yet? Oh God, get her to stop. But in the creative process, right, it doesn't matter. Now I can solicit your feedback, and if I care and I want to fine tune
Right.
to things, that's fine. But the pure essence of creation, right, is my responsibility. And am one of the things, and I'll just get back because we were talking about voice. When I do voice workshops, one of the early things we do is we just make crazy, I say ugly sounds because people aren't used to making sound, but just like whatever,
Yes. To
growl,
get it going.
moan, like
Yes.
just scream your freaking head off, whatever. Like get out of the way of the idea that there is a bad sound to make, because there isn't.
Hmm. And then I can just let what happens come out of my face.
Yes.
'Cause there's a whole lot of holding, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not going to be good enough or whatever. So don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the getting out of the way, such a big thing.
Hmm.
Getting out of the way, being aware of what you're making matter, and this gets back to the why. If you're doing it for validation, completely fine, but let's be honest about that, and then you can be settled in it and not have a lot of extra stuff
Right. Not
around
pretending
it.
it's because I want to save the world or because I want to,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter, right? As we're talking about what
Right.
makes
It's
what
what
we're making
matters to
matter.
you. I mean, if
That's what
that's
matters
what
to you.
matters to you, then do it
Hmm. Hmm.
and see what happens.
And see what happens. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what matter what it feels like a theme is that what matters to us materializes.
Yeah.
And then that's information, by the way. Oh,
Yeah.
like this is what's mattering to me,
Yeah.
which isn't always pretty.
No.
Sometimes
But
it is, but
well, and often it is, but that's like part of the creative process, right? It's like if I'm learning to paint, I'm just, if I can just splash some paint on the paper just to start, I mean, that's a start. And
win. It is.
sometimes like, the splashes just turn into just in and of themselves are beautiful, depending on how we're seeing it. And just the part you talked about, sort of getting frozen, not like not letting anything out of your face because you're scared of what it will sound like, or
Mhm.
writing, writer's block, where you just, I find that writer's block is very much tied to like a perfect picture that I have of what it should be. I
Yes.
have this idea and then the words that are coming out just are not matching. And then it's like, okay, well, never mind.
Right. Right. Whereas there's so much coaching out there that says just get the damn words on the page and stop editing. That's the next
Yeah.
step. Like that. Can we stop that self-editing? And that happens with all the art. It's like, can we just get the paint on the page? And then next time, if we want to make it the splotch, different color or whatever, we can.
Hmm.
Can we play?
Can we play? Can we allow ourselves to just have the freedom to let whatever out, to create something, not be attached to anything?
Good. So I am excited about having more of this conversation. But first,
But we have to have a break.
a little break.
Thank you, We Are Storically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Hey friends, Susana and I want to remind you that we offer a Mystic Revolution meditation. It's the first Tuesdays at 4:30 Pacific. Please come as our guest. You can see our website for the link. And thank you for playing with us.
Raise your vibration and energize your life with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks that deepen meditations and empower self-healing. Get your vibrational sound tools for personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Welcome back to Mystic
We're
Revolution.
back.
Yay, back. And there's been a lot of focus on what we make matter and what matters to us actually manifesting. And to me, this is so much about play. And we have lots of things about play we want to talk about, and there'll be other times. But I just wanted to start with something we haven't talked about, which is that creativity requires, play requires here now. Here now with, and that can be painful. That can be a little bit of a hard landing for some of us. I just want to say that, like, conscious creativity requires being here now with, and so actually coming to that, there's a velocity change there. For some of us, there's some friction. So I just wanted to name that because we'll probably be talking about that more, about what keeps us from now, keeps us from consciously creating.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear you speak more about that and the resistance that we can have.
Yeah, it's resistance. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of it started with the art of war. Stephen Pressfield, it's part of his ministry. He wouldn't say ministry, to talk about resistance, but it's just this thing that's well known of, like, so many people talk about it, that like we have to work ourselves up to being in that creative space. We have to run. Some people talk about it in terms of running a gauntlet.
Mm.
into that creative space. Others of us just fall right in. It's different for everybody.
It's
Um,
different.
but then once we get there, then I find my word for it is flow.
Hmm.
I'm just in this tremendous flow. And there's been, books about this and stuff, but it's just like I'm in that timeless, spaceless, creative, deliciousness
Yeah.
of when I'm like writing or when I'm creating, copy or like whatever, creating a new workshop. Um, but it takes that. It's the same as when I used to go out into nature for a few days. Like I had to like let myself stage myself out of the car and out of the stuff and like get to that alone space out there in the wild. If I let myself have a few, like do it gently, it was easier,
Hmm.
and then I could be in the flow of nature. It's the same thing, I think.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so what do you notice about these things, Suzanne?
Well, I think the resistance I can totally relate to, and it's I always have thought of it in the past. It's like it's just if I could just get over this hump, right? It's
Yes,
literally
the
like
hump.
an energetic hump. And I know for sure that the pain or the whatever that I'm anticipating, it's I can already feel it in my body. Um, and the truth is, it's not going to be worse on the other side of the hump. It's actually going to be better.
Yeah,
And my resistance is creating more and more, whatever pain, fear,
yep.
um,
It just multiplies.
whatever. And, this gets into the subject of things like procrastination,
Yes,
like why that happens. And for a lot of people, it can go back to trauma. For a lot of people, it can go into places that, aren't with be here now, like you're
yes,
talking about.
yes.
And so that's when we start to notice that, that's where we get to make a choice. And if we aren't really sure how to do it or we want help to get there,
Mhm.
then we can make that choice to do that. Now, I know a lot of people, my partner's like this. So creative, like creative every single day. It's no big deal, I know half the time he's like, why are you why have you been thinking about this so much? Just do it. Just draw a picture,
Yes.
constantly doodling, constantly, constantly,
Oh,
constantly.
yeah.
And
Partners.
he's been a great teacher for me in that.
Mhm.
And play, what you were talking about, huge theme for him. Play, amusement, laughter,
Yeah.
like, let's just whatever. It
Yes.
doesn't freaking fucking matter.
Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Oh.
Let it be easy, let it be fun, and then the flow just comes. And, again, we said this, there are plenty of artists and creators out there for which, like, this isn't an issue.
Yeah.
It isn't. They just create like it's their lifeblood. They cannot help it.
Yes.
It's constant, constant, constant. But for those of us who for which that isn't the case, that's who we're talking to.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's difference, and we're talking about conscious creation, and
Yeah.
and also we said last time. I just want to say this time because people might be like, well, what does manifestation have to do with like playing? And, it's just like, well, I think it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Creating is creating, whether it's art or creating together in the sandbox with a kid or creating our lives or creating,
A business.
business.
Yeah.
It's all the same
Whatever.
thing, and there's confrontation, but especially I get confronted. Like I'm great. It's just like I can just fall into some kinds of creativity all day long. Like it's fun.
Mhm.
It could even be a distraction. Right. But to
Mm.
actually consciously, all right, today is the day that my newsletter gets out. Like, it's a whole different, oh, you want me to discipline this? Oh, today is the day that I create what my life is going to be like the next month. You
Yeah.
want me to discipline this, be conscious about this? That's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
of consciousness and focus, and still choosing the flow toward a particular place that I
Hmm.
choose.
That I
That's not
choose.
always easy.
No, it's not always easy. But when we can allow ourselves to the possibility of that experience
Yes.
and then get used to that experience, then we can stand in it in a stronger, bigger way and really own the fact that like we have a creating is like as you said before, right? Like we're creating the moment we're born. We're
Yeah.
creating the moment we're born. Like it's our right to create things. It's our right to act on the divine sparks that come in us to be inspired or amused, but
Hmm.
like have something that is a muse. I mean, people have a very specific picture of what a muse is, but I think for me,
Right.
there's many, many things that can be that.
Yes.
And allowing ourselves to have that deeper relationship with ourselves, and that maybe
Yeah.
gets to for me like has been painful in the past. Like I don't want to know that person.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what we're talking about here now with
Right.
ourselves and them.
Why would I wanna hang out with that person that that I despise or that, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm using
Or that
language for
is holding
myself.
that
It's
pain or whatever. You know, it's
yeah,
like I might be horrible or I might have horrible, but either way, it's no fun.
yeah. And, um, the creative process, uh, eh, has has been the way for me to, like, move through that and kind of wash away all the obstacles. It's like it works in tandem. Is it the chicken or the egg? Well, you
Yes.
think, oh, I got to remove all the blocks first. No,
No.
it's just just stepping into, just splashing the paint on the paper, opening your mouth and making the most god awful sound that you've ever heard.
Go
Which
ahead.
is really, really fun.
It is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's wonderful. Yeah. So it's wonderful. We're creating, we're co-creating, we're inspired in creation. We're allowing a different way of being. We're allowing ourselves to have new things.
Mhm.
Um,
And in that we find then that's when we catch the spirit, and that's like
yes.
catch the spirit literally and figuratively. That in that we catch that inspiration, and
Yeah.
then it takes us to new places. And this is where the idea of mysticism comes in. I mean, I can sit there and meditate or connect with or pray to whatever deities or beings I want for creativity. And I'm not going to saying that's not going to hurt or for whatever it is
Mhm.
I want to manifest. It's not going to
Right.
hurt by any stretch, but I have to get it in my body. I have to get it in my spirit. I have to be with it in me. And in that, like, then all the things start opening.
Yes. Yes. And we're
And
in flow.
in the flow, in the play, and then it does get more play, like the signs. We were
Yeah.
talking about signs and symbols in a conversation off camera,
Mhm.
and paying attention to those things, and how in paying attention to those things, like they lead you to your next co-creator, they lead you to your next opportunity, they show you a new medium in which to play in.
Mhm.
Or inspire a new something.
Yes. 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 So again, I want to say, like, this is an unexpected for a lot of people place to start a conversation about conscious creation, about actually manifesting. But I believe these conversations are foundational.
Yeah.
It's like I want to paint a picture, I need a clean canvas. Like I can't be just doing it on the curtains that are full of print. Like I have to,
Well, you could, but
I could, but it's not gonna, first of all, the place won't appreciate it, but but second of
yeah.
all, it's not gonna be a beautiful thing. Um, I can, but can I cleanse the palette?
Yeah.
And can I set a vibration? And can I be conscious about what matters to me?
Mm-hmm.
And can I be conscious about where I've come from and how that momentum might be affecting what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and start to dampen that on purpose and start to bring in new songs and dances on purpose. So this foundational stuff is like the foundation. It's what makes that other, like, I would like this please to happen easily or not.
Yes.
So we're getting
Yeah.
there to that, but there's going to be more. Look out, there's going to be more of these kinds of conversations first about who we're being, what we're choosing, and how we're doing it, that can work.
They can work. And I think we're going to go back to saying foundation. I mean, there are so many people out there that have talked about how to manifest, and, books and movies. Not everybody, but a lot of people in certain sectors of the world
Circles.
have heard circles, have heard of them. And those tenets work to a degree, and sometimes they don't. A lot of people are like, well, I'm doing all the things, why is it not working?
Yes.
And having been through all of that and tried that and done that and all of that stuff, right? Wendy and I know from our rich tradition that there's more.
Yes.
And it's not out there, and it's not just trying to match some idea. It's literally like opening up the guts, or opening up the floodgates, and allowing space for all that you are, as you are, the be here now message, freedom.
Yes. Yes. You know what it reminds me of now in this moment? I'm realizing what it reminds me of, Susana. And this is the like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. It's like, for example, for letting go of weight, for
Mhm.
me, for letting go of weight. In general, what people know is that if I eat less and move more, I will let go of weight, right?
Mhm.
Like that's just facts. And then what people try to sell is, oh, the new year's coming, join this gym, join this program, join this diet plan, right? There's all these choices. And so we're saying there's a lot of choices about how to.
Yes.
But how do I get there? Like I can join the gym, but I have to go, and then I have to, right? Like I can do the diet plan, but I actually have to eat that, like, so, right? But over here is where it's like, can I have that? Can I allow that? Am I well enough in my soul to shift? Am I well enough in my body, how my body is working healthily to be able to change? Have I let go of enough toxins that I can allow the weight to come out? On and on, right? Like this has to happen. And then any of these will happen. Any
Yeah.
of these will work.
Yeah.
I can do this diet or that diet, this plan or that plan. It doesn't it really matter. I need one. I need to have a system. It helps. Uh, Maybe not, but like it helps.
Yeah.
So these are all the do. And we'll talk about some of that. But like first, am I well? Am I allowing all manner of things to be well?
Yeah.
And am I allowing myself to have a different experience? That's what really matters.
Yeah. Are you allowing yourself to have a different experience? That's
Yeah.
such an important question in every moment or every day. I mean, even in the morning, I mean, I do a meditate. We both have meditation practices, I know, but like that's a great question. If something has been a weight or having whatever, am I willing to allow myself to have a different experience today?
Yes. Yes. And in other times you've heard me talk about, well, oh, I'm realizing I'm suffering. Where is there to shift? Where's there to let go?
Yeah,
It's the same thing,
that's the
but
same
opposite.
thing.
It's like, where am I willing to let go and where am I willing to let in?
Yeah,
And so these are the questions that we're foundationing with to start with, so that when we get to whether we pray or ritual or meditate or vision or whatever, that it can just work.
yeah. Brilliant, beautiful. I love it. This is some of my favorite stuff to talk about. So,
Oh, meditation.
meditation.
Okay, so let's notice our body. Hooray for the body.
Mm,
And we're here now, and we have beautifully, we're beautifully learning to be here now and allow the old to fall away. Let's open our hands and let the old fall away. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Good. And feel your skin and let your own attention and energy, your own being, come back inside your own skin. I can allow more of me. I can allow more of my truth, more of my essence to be here. I can have new deliciousness within. And noticing the skin inside your skin, and then letting go, like sand in your hands, of the old, of the stale. Just letting it fall. And the earth is eating it. Yum, yum. Feel free to keep playing with that along with what we've talked about. I hope that you let this settle in, and please share with us what you're noticing for yourself. Now for real.
thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Now for real. Bye.
Bye.
And that concludes this portion of Mystic Revolution. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to get notified of new content. Don't forget to like and share. Join the Mystic Revolution. Click on the link in the description to get more information, or visit themysticrevolution.com. Another creative art production by Retro Earth Studio.
So the idea of what we're talking about, I know that there are people that are thinking this way all over the world. And when we can find them and unite with them, wow, it can make such a difference.